Ladies and gentlemen, today is November the 4th, 2013, and today is 133. Holy crap. Today is the KNKL Show, episode 133. I'm your host, Keenan Lafferty, and this is the show where we normally learn to be better artists, but on Wednesdays we do whatever the heck we want, and it just so happens that we are going to be jumping into a very special piece that I have been creating for Emma, the online comic. Speaking of which, the new page is out, so go look at it. Go look at it. But before we get into today's holiday cheer, as you can see right here, this is some of the amazing ideas from the chat, from viewers like you at home. Gave me a lot of ideas last week, and I was working on this piece right here, and I'm going to show you via time-lapse what we've been doing today. But before we get into that, you need to make sure to call some attention to this amazing picture sent in by Jose Gonzalez. I really, really like this, aka, I think it's Helgen Warfare. If not, he stole Helgen Warfare's little icon there. But I like that. Emma in Super Smash Brothers. I absolutely love it. And these gloves. A few of you have been drawing Emma with gloves, and I really like that a lot. So, that might be finding its way into the comic before you know it. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the time lapse. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about some of the challenges, as well as, just kind of what's been going through my mind with this thing. And let's see if I can actually pause it while this is going. Can I? Ah, awesome! I can. Sweet. All right, guys. So yeah, I'll just pause it every now and then when I'm talking about something poignant, I guess. Okay, so the first thing you guys might notice is I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to lay out this picture, because I was drawing a few things yesterday. I can actually show you the sketches in here. Probably should have scanned these, but whatever. Actually, I turned on the... oh yeah, look, I turned down the exposure on my camera so you can actually see this now. So here's some sketches that I was doing of Emma. See, she's kind of got like a little cup of hot chocolate, and then back here was Buttons and Tank, and Nico's kind of like saying something. He's like, hey, look back here. That was one of the ideas. And another one was kind of them with like a snowman. I think that's what's going on up at the top of that page. It's really hard to show this thing. And here's another one that I did of Emma and reindeer Buttons. Really like that a lot, guys. So, yeah, and a lot of these ideas were yours. So, yeah, I had to pick just kind of what I wanted the feeling of this card to be, right? And I wanted it to be kind of like, I wanted like the mixture, like the contrast of the characters. The characters just like in this nice, warm, cozy spot, maybe sipping some hot cocoa, talking, having some holiday cheer. And Nico's kind of the one that's coming in and be like, hey guys, hey guys. And he's like pointing at something in the background, and there's going to be like these zombies, just the silhouettes of these zombies in the background kind of closing in on these dudes here. So you can see right there, I was drawing over and over again like just the expressions. And you'll notice, like I say this so many times, but notice how I draw on the expressions of the characters, and they're really super simple. Like look at Nico's face right there, and look at Emma's face. And oftentimes I find myself going back to those original sketches, and I'll make sure that just the same feeling is there. The same feeling, the same expression is being conveyed, unless, something else, comes into play. So the biggest challenge that I had going forward with this was I want to print it on a 5x7 card, right? Kind of like these ribbon Zach things that I did right here. I really like these a lot, and these are a 5x7, so it's going to be more like that. But I was trying to figure out, how I can create a composition that will fit on this card, because I'm usually used to working like 16x9 and like messing with stuff like that. And so what I eventually end up doing is I end up putting borders around it so it can function both as a 16x9 picture and be printed on the card. And then I can put something on the little borders like Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, something like that. From Emma-san, from the Emmaverse. So, yes. So we're just continuing with this, trying to figure out, originally I was thinking, there would be Tank here. Tank's kind of like looking over at Nico, and Clem was going to be here too, but I just thought this was kind of weird, just like his head like popping out of Emma's head. It just wasn't working for me. But I tried a bunch of other different things, and that was the one that just seemed to keep me coming back to it. And same thing with Nico. I was trying to figure out how to position Nico with this, I don't know, this pole or something going to the porch that they're sitting on. It was covering up his bandana thing, so I was like, well, I tried moving Nico around, and just nothing worked. So I was like, all right, well, let's just stick with what we like right now. I tried resizing Emma and all that stuff. She's still kind of small in the bottom there. And you'll see how I go about fixing this as we go forward. Because originally I had the idea of Emma just being in the super foreground. You know, going back to yesterday's tutorial, right? I was talking about things like really cool things to do is put things in the super foreground. And what you can see me doing here is trying my best to like lay out perspective. And I think I kind of end up, I started off with this perspective grid here, but I end up kind of just scrapping it and being like, all right, whatever, let's just, you know, I was like, yeah, whatever, let's just cheat it. I always cheat things, and it's not good. But anyway, one day I will be like perfect at perspective, or I'll just hire somebody who's absolutely amazing at perspective, and I'll just have them do all my backgrounds for me. But until then, I just kind of half butt it the whole way, and you know, if I need to, I just cheat it, which you'll see I do with great success towards the end. But yeah, I was trying to follow the rules, right? I was trying to follow the rules, and it's like, you know, this doesn't look good. This does not look good, so I decided to just kind of ditch it. I was just comparing it again back to the original thumbnail. I was like, you know what, the little roof over their heads just looks better without the perspective lines. I was probably doing something wrong, which is why it looks stupid. But at any rate, the biggest challenge, I guess, going to this thing. Oh, look at that face. That's so funny. I redrew Nico's face right there. I love it. Yeah, again, I'm trying to figure out exactly what Nico's going to be doing. I was like, I want him to be clear, because originally he was going to be pointing, right? But now this handrail and these bars are in his way, so now he has to like be pointing his thumb back or something like that. So yeah, this is me just trying to figure out Nico. And notice how I'm just working with values. I'm drawing in characters just with values and simple shapes. You know, I'm not worrying about going in there, drawing a bunch of, you know, drawing all the details, drawing the perfect layout and measurements of all the characters. Just focusing on reading, values, shapes, and all that good stuff. So now that we've got our thumbnail in place, now we are moving into the layout. Now we can start measuring things out, making everything perfect. And you'll see some really funny Emma faces coming up here. This is basically how I work. I just sculpt the face, I just like erase and just like redraw things. Because what's really weird is it's kind of hard to. The interesting thing about the style that I work with in Emma, the comic, is oftentimes I find myself drawing what feels right as opposed to perfectly measuring out every single character's face and being like, okay, well, their eye goes here, and the nose goes exactly here. You know, it's more like I'm trying to match the feel of this face. I'm trying to match it. And it's very challenging to do when you're trying. But as soon as I relax and it's just like I just draw what feels right, it looks good, and it also looks like Emma. You know, like I compare it to all the other Emma drawings, and it's like, yes, this is obviously Emma's face. Even though I didn't perfectly measure it out, I just drew what felt right. I just kind of molded it, sculpted it into what I wanted it to look like. But yeah, this was actually a pretty tough one because this is always a tough angle for me, where the character is kind of like looking up, and you can kind of see the underside of their chin, and all of their face, the facial features are like pushed up on their face. You know, it's always a tough but awesome angle if you pull it off properly. So I was really excited about that. And yeah, I just want these characters to have hot cocoa. I don't know why. I find that so fun. You know, just the other day, it's now snowing here in Utah. I woke up like 2 days ago. It just started. I woke up and it's just like everything's snow everywhere, and it was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I made myself like a hot bowl of soup, and I got all dressed up nice and warm, and then I just went outside and ate the soup in the snow, and it was really just. I think that was what inspired this. I was like, I want these characters to be kind of doing that, sitting on the snowy porch and drinking hot cocoa. So yes. So anyway, some things that I go into to cheat this thing, and sort of with the. See, here's where I begin cheating the perspective. It's like, oh, okay, I want to do like that bent perspective where it looks kind of cool, kind of fish-eyed. And I just cheated it. I was like, and then just duplicated the line and just like made it look good, right? But this is all just straight up cheating. So yeah, I've noticed a big thing with my work is that I don't know. I really feel like it's good to know the technical things, but sometimes I just feel like you got to draw what feels right. You really just got to draw what feels right, and having a knowledge of how to do it correctly, I think helps a little bit too. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like if I don't know what the heck I'm doing, or I'm trying to do it and it's just not turning out right, just ditch it. You know, just ditch it and do what feels right. So that's what I did with this perspective, these perspective lines and all that stuff. And another thing that you'll notice that I do is I end up cropping this part off of Emma. And the reason why I do this is because I want Emma to be much closer to us. And when you eliminate the plane, or when you eliminate what she's sitting on, then, you know, what's really weird is I was drawing, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. I was drawing this window in, and it looked like it was right next to Emma's head, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to look like it's way in the distance, you know, trying to get that focal trick, the little perspective thing going on. But, I don't know, the biggest, probably the most common thing that I could say doing this picture, and doing pictures like this, is that sometimes, like, most of the time I really don't feel like I know what I'm doing, but I just have to trust in my instincts, trust in the force of the artist to kind of get me through it, and always compare it back to the original thing. See, here's me looking again at the face. I'm looking again at this face, and I'm changing it so that way it gives me the same kind of feeling that the other one does. So, and this was another hard thing. I was trying to make Emma not look cross-eyed. I was trying to make her not look cross-eyed, and but still like looking up at that weird angle. It's really hard to draw anime characters like that. I don't know why. Very, very challenging. Challenging. Yes. But yeah, this kind of prompts an interesting story. You know, I look at the backgrounds. Oh, here's what I'm talking about. See, look at how I create this border right here. This is going to allow me to print it on this card, but still have it so that I can use it as a 16:9 picture, and it just looks nice when it's in that widescreen type of format. And then I can put a message up here or down here. But see, what's cool is once you crop off what Emma is sitting on, then you can make her as big as you want, really, and then, you know, the viewer's eye will just fill it in and it'll look fine. But see, when it's like that, there's something weird about it. I don't know what it is about it, but seeing the ground plane, it makes it look a little bit, I don't know, less cool. It's hard to explain, but as soon as I got rid of it, I was like, oh man, this picture is awesome. So sometimes it's not all about what you can see, not all about what you're showing to the viewer. Sometimes it's about what you're hiding and allowing the viewer to fill in for themselves. So, and then we got reindeer buttons. I was super excited about this. This is, again, another awesome suggestion from the audience last week. So, yeah, I'm just drawing reindeer buttons, and he's got an ornament in his mouth now instead of a tennis ball. And he's going to have a little glowing red nose, so that'll be nice and fun. Nice and fun. And, yeah, once the time lapse is done, I'll probably show you guys how I go about just laying out a character, because I got Nico. I got Nico to lay out, and I'll just show you guys how I go about doing that. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. So, yeah, I'm drawing Tank now. Tank was actually really fun. Tank came together like perfectly. I just drew his face. You saw it yourself. And I was trying to like mess around with this perspective, and then I was like, nah, whatever. It just looks good as it is. I don't want to be perfect, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Then I was trying to figure out, okay, where the heck is Clem going to go now? Because now that we made Emma big, we can't have Clem's head just like poking up over her head. So I decided, oh, maybe he's going to be in the background. You know, maybe talking to some guy or something. But then the next problem I ran into was like, oh man, there's not enough room for me to fit a guy that he's like having a conversation with. You know, with Tank there, his cloak or whatever, his leg's in the way. So you'll see me kind of wrestling around with this, moving some assets around, trying to get everything looking right, and eventually we'll get it. We'll get it. And then you will hear me through the time lapse, through the past, saying yes, because I was super excited when I got it down. And here's me again, moving around, messing around with the composition, redrawing everything. This is where I go back in and I mess around with the values, making sure this is a little bit of a preview of what the final picture is going to look like. So I was like, okay, we need to figure out how we're going to layer these characters in terms of values. So Emma will be obviously the darkest. Usually, most of the time I like to do darkest to lightest, going back into the background. Just works really, really well. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. The shadows in general, just they're darker when they're closer to you. So Emma's going to be a lot darker, and then Tank will be light because he's standing next to this window right here, so he'll have a lot of light on the side of him. And that'll be very nice, very nice. And then, yeah. And then now that I moved this thing back, I can actually have Nico pointing back there. and now we can see his bandana, and everything's good. Lo and behold, it is good. It was good. All right. People are saying Clem should be Santa. Yes, Clem is actually going to have a Santa hat. I don't know. I might give him a coat. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see. If I give him a coat, then I might have to give the other characters something too. I don't know. That would be funny if Nico looked like an elf. Because we were talking about that last week. We were talking about giving all the characters kind of winter-themed things. So maybe I will do that. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. If it takes Nico too much out of his character, or if it looks weird without him having a bandana, I probably won't do it. But yeah, see, you can see I drew a little Santa hat on Clem. But I'm a little bit more about subtlety, especially since Emma herself, she just got like her little coat and pants on. But we'll see. We shall see. See, so now we got plenty of room. We got plenty of room to have Clem talking to this guy. They both have their little cups, of hot cocoa up. Oh, this makes me so happy. Everybody's got their hot cocoa. And Emma's got a nice cup of Neen right there. Gotta love that. And I think we're winding down, and we're getting close to where we are now. Yep, that's it. You can see me just messing around with the perspective. Messing around, trying to cover up my cheating. Eliminate the evidence of my cheating. Alright, and that lands us right here. So, what I'm really liking about this so far, guys, is one of my favorite things that I'm digging is that this little area right here, see how we've moved Tank over? And now we have this little box, this little opening for us to kind of look through and see through the background. This was totally by accident, but it feels so natural now to see Clem and the guy there having their conversation. And I feel like everything really flows together now. Like if you were to, get all technical, let's go ahead and let's talk about flow. Let's talk about flow and what's working well. So what I like about all these lines is, again, everything's bringing us to this area. Everything's bringing us here to the big area of focus. And then something else that I really like is, again, we have this little window right here, this little window that brings our attention to there. So it's like a little bit of a secret in a way. Like you don't have to see it. It's not the first read, but I don't know, it feels like it fits there now, as opposed to just being kind of like crammed in the side and be like, oh, I need to show there's other people here, And also, I really like this. I really like how just this flow of the three faces. It goes here to here to here, and then Nico is here, pointing there, and then, we're going to look over here. It's going to be zombies. But I just like this whole area. This whole area feels really good. And that's my flow lesson for the day. Now let's go ahead and get into laying out Nico, which I'm sure you're all excited to see. So, the first thing I need to do is I need to pull up Nico's character sheet. Character sheet right there. You guys have seen that a million times. But just in case, for those of you who may be first-time watchers today, to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and capture this expression that Nico is doing. It looks a little bit like the Scream ghost, but I kind of like that. Alright, Alright, so let's make a new layer, call it Nico, and let's get to work. So the first thing I do is I just lower all of these, because he's just on the value layer. I just lower down the values, and then on his own layer, we will begin drawing him. So let's go ahead and get that started. And I'll show you guys how I go about doing this. There is a little bit of, I do know the measurements, kind of Nico's face, right? I know the measurements of the characters that I draw now. I've finally gotten to the point where I'm really kind of comfortable and relaxed while I'm drawing these characters, and that makes me really, really happy because I was really looking forward to the day that would happen, right? Okay, so let's see here. We've got perspective going this way, okay? So our ellipse must go this way, okay. Yeah, so, yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm really happy that I can now draw my characters for the most part and get them right. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what his expression would be here. See how I'm just like lining things up basically with where they were before? Just lining them up. Line them up! And Nico's got a big mouth, so. It looks really funny. Okay, that's good. So his eyes are going to be something like that, kind of like that. And yeah, he's yelling at Tank. Like, hey! And then we got his thing here. His little hair do going on there. When Nico's eyes are open, his hair just magically moves to the side so you can see both of his eyes. That's a rule of the comic. When Nico is expressing, his eyes must move to the side. Or his hair must move to the side to accommodate the enlargement of the eyes. Okay, it's good. Good. Okay, now let's draw our bandana. Good, good, good. And again, I'm not so worried about everything looking perfect. That's the other thing, is I'm just kind of sketching in lines. And what's interesting is when I'm doing these, I don't know, I guess promotional pictures, I tend to kind of really take liberties with the characters. I guess, I don't know, I almost disregard the measurements as much as I normally would. I don't even know what I'm saying. Because we're drawing the characters in such a weird angle, it's kind of hard to just measure everything out. And like I said, I just feel comfortable. Just feel comfortable with this. And worst case scenario, we have the magic of Photoshop and the lasso tool. So yeah, okay. Yeah, but I really like the way his bandana was shaped right here. I really like the way his bandana looked right there. Yeah, so I want to make sure I preserve that. Preserve it. And let's go ahead and draw on his coat. That looks really good. I like it. And just look at how, I really want you guys to pay attention to how rough it is. How rough all of this stuff is. Now, if he's pointing backwards, his thumb would be on the inside. Okay. So it would look like that. Perfect! And then let's draw the rest of his coat coming down here. Nico's got like this really cool, kind of long, skinny body that I kind of forgot about. Well, not necessarily forgot about, but I always look back at this original drawing, and he's super like slender, skinny, and like he almost looks like he's like stretched out or something. And I kind of like that. I really do like that. So I'm kind of trying to infuse that a little bit back into his character. Not that I ever necessarily lost it. We haven't seen a lot of full body shots of Nico, but I just like to keep that in mind whenever I'm drawing him like that. His head does look a little bit large, though. I'm going to shrink it down just a tad bit. See, but this looks good. This looks really good. This looks really good. I'm really happy with this. So, okay. Now on the other thing, or his other hand, I'll probably just have it in like a fist or something like that. I don't know. How did I see this? How did I see this? It looks good there, but why doesn't it look good here? I can't figure it out. And I just need to mimic that shape. Again, when in doubt, just mimic the shape. Mimic the shape. Yeah, see? That already looks a lot better. Lovely! Lovely! Alright, let's draw his legs going back here like that. I really like the way his legs are going back like this, but I need to figure out why they look good like that. I need to figure out how his legs are going to be positioned. Perhaps consulting the original sketch, because I like the way I drew it there. I can always see things. I can just see things when they're all simple. As soon as I try to make things all detailed, I usually lose it. It's really weird. Where are the sketches? Did I seriously draw them on the other side of the book? Probably did. No? Okay, I literally don't know where my sketches are. And rather than fumble around, I think I'll just wing it. Because I can see it. I can see it right here. I can see it in this thing. Well, maybe it's because this leg needs to be forward. This one needs to be further back. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Something like that. Anyway, I'll deal with that stuff later. Deal with the rest of that stuff later. This arm does look a little bit small. A tad bit small. Let's go and enlarge. Yes! Yes, that looks so good. That looks so good. I love it when stuff just works, don't you? I really love that. Makes me really happy. Lets me know holiday cheer is on the way. I still want Riot to do that. I still want Riot to take Christmas Tree Maokai, especially since they're reselling him. You just need to get that voice actor, call him in, and then when he does his cue, he punches the ground. Pounce! Maokai, pounce! Oh, he should say that too. You should give Captain Maokai. But anyway, and his Christmas skin, he should say, holiday cheer! And then punch the ground. That'd be really awesome. Alright, so with that out of the way, guys, I'm going to open up question catapults. Any questions that you have, please send them over the castle walls. I'm going for about half an hour. Hope you guys learned something today. Hope you guys had some fun watching the time lapse and watching me kind of draw in a character really quickly.